Hello and welcome to FNL. I'm Jill, your host, and this is the Corona edition, week number 2. For this week, we've got a bad joke brought to you by Coden. So, Coden, what's your bad joke for us?
So I was talking to my grandfather the other day, and we were talking about how he was a soldier in the army, and I asked him, "Hey, Granddad, did you get shot in the army?" And he said, "No, I got shot in the leggy."
Okay, yeah, well done, well done. At first I was like, I don't know about this grandfather story, but get it, part of the joke. So Coden, you are our guest on FNL this week. So we wanted to get to know you a little bit more. So I've got some questions. Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh, 3 words. Okay. What about it? I like to think that I'm funny, bit of a weirdo, but caring.
Fair enough. Why a bit of a weirdo?
I don't know. I just like to see myself as a bit different.
Okay, yeah. But I agree, caring definitely is up there. What is your favourite thing to do?
My favourite thing, I don't know, I have a few favourite things to do. Probably exploring. I love exploring. Mostly exploring with my car, just forward driving around different places, seeing cool new places. Probably my favourite thing to do.
Uh, Summer or winter?
Or probably summer.
Mountains, rivers, or beach?
I would have to go probably rivers. I think I've growing up, I've lived on a farm that had a river going through it, so I've probably spent a lot of time growing up near rivers. So I've always loved swimming and playing around near rivers.
And who is your hero? Who would you say your hero is?
No, I think I don't know. There's a lot of people to choose from. I think. I think I look to my dad. I think is a good hero. You know, he runs 2 businesses, runs a farm, as well as he was raising 3 boys. So yeah, I think he's a solid bloke, and I probably look up to him as my hero.
And what superhero would you like to have if you could have just one?
Superhero.
Superhero power.
Superhero power. Okay. Superhero power. I've always wanted. It's probably a common one, but I've always wanted to fly. I think flying is super cool.
Yeah, nice. And what makes you angry?
What makes me angry? I think it sounds funny. I think I make myself angry sometimes. I think so at the moment I'm doing a lot of study online, and it's hard for me to just sit down and focus on my study, and often I'm really good at procrastinating, and after I've been procrastinating for a couple hours, I'm like, oh, just get back to work and do it, and I get frustrated with myself.
I think there's many people that can probably empathise with you at the moment, working or studying from home and online. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Probably my lovely fiance, Amanda.
Oh, nice.
Makes me happy. Plenty of things make me happy as well. Like I was saying before, exploring, forward driving, going to the beach, spending time with mates. Yeah.
All right, and we have some rapid fire would you rathers. Okay.
Okay.
So, cheese or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Edible spaghetti hair that regrows each night, or to sweat maple syrup?
Spaghetti hair, probably.
Fair enough. A perpetual water balloon fight in Foster, or a perpetual food fight?
Oh, water balloon fight. That'd be so cool.
All right. Motorbike or four-wheel drive?
Oh, I'd have to go four-wheel drive. Motorbikes are cool, but four-wheel drive's probably cooler.
Four-wheel drive on the beach or four-wheel drive on like a mountain track?
Mountain track.
Mountain track. Dev or Chris?
Oh man, I hope they're not gonna watch this. I can't really choose. Both, you know, considering they're both my bosses.
Would you rather? You have to name one.
I spend more time with Dev.
Does that mean Chris is your favourite?
No, I don't know. Dev is my mentor, so I'd have to side with Dev, I think.
Is that just sucking up because he's your mentor and he'll give you feedback?
Yeah. He's the one that gives me the work, so I have to choose him.
Dev or Marty?
Dev or Marty? Oh man, choosing, man, Jill, you're setting me up. You're setting me up big time. Again, I think for the same reason, I'd have to side with Dev.
All right, Dev or Amanda?
Amanda.
Yeah. Well done, you passed that test. Tick.
Whew.
All right. Phew. So you mentioned Dev is your boss. So you work for Coast EC now. Can you tell us a bit about what it is you're doing for work? Is it it's MTS program, or what does that actually mean or look like?
Yeah, so MTS stands for Ministry Training Strategy. And it's this program that, well, not a program, more kind of an organisation that helps raise up leaders, ministry workers. And so I'm doing an apprenticeship through the organisation MTS. And so so I'm given like a mentor or a trainer. For me, that's Dev. And so over and so over 2 years, I'm being trained up to be a minister in a church and just check out what kind of full-time ministry looks like. So I'm doing a bunch of different things, like, being a youth leader, running kind of a kids program like SALT, as well as studying and doing a couple of other little kind of things around the church. So it's an apprenticeship. And,
Why did you want to do that?
Well, I've been involved ministry for a little bit. I think what kind of got me into it was the gap year program. So I kind of experienced ministry in that program, and I think after that I just kind of found a love for it. Like I love serving, and I love helping other people. I love preaching the gospel, and I think God's given me different abilities in areas that help with that sort of stuff. And I just thought it was a good next step to make, was to be trained up in ministry.
Awesome. What's one of the things that you've really learnt or been challenged by so far?
I think the big thing I've kind of been challenged by, particularly in ministry, is not really like set tasks. So what I mean by that, if you get a job at Woolies, or you get a job, just at a store, or is what most kind of it's what your kind of first job is. You're given a kind of like set tasks, which are tangible, they're easy to understand. You're like, okay, when you've done that task, and so you can move on to the next task. In ministry, it's a little bit different. Kind of, it's more like you have goals, like your goals to care for people and to preach the gospel, but they're not really kind of set tangible tasks. And so it's figuring out, it's basically trying to figure out the task for yourself so that you can then achieve those to be ministering and serving to other people. So I think the hard thing is navigating that a little bit and trying to figure out for yourself what exactly you have got to be doing. That's probably the most challenging thing, and you're never done. There's always more things to do. Like, you've never finished your job, and there's always more stuff to do. So
And then on top of that, we throw in a pandemic. So Corona's happened. We can't gather as a church or as a youth group. You can't even gather more than one person. How has that changed what you're doing, your role, but also some of those goals or tasks that you're trying to do? Or has it changed?
Yeah, well, it's changed everything, but it's changed nothing at the same time.
You might need to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so it's changed everything in that so obviously for youth, we're not meeting up at the guides hall. And for SALT, we're not meeting in one place. For church, we're not meeting in one place. We're not together physically. We can't care for each other in the same way that we used to because we can't even go near each other. And so the way we kind of go about caring and serving other people has, radically changed. So that's kind of, so obviously, so I've gone from youth, we're now doing it over Zoom. Church, we're now recording it, putting it on YouTube. SALT, we're recording videos and putting them on YouTube as well. And caring for people, like giving them calls and just to see how people are doing over the phone. That's changed. So that's how it's kind of changed. But how it hasn't changed at all is our purpose and our mission. Like our purpose is still to share the gospel with the people in our area. We still want to see people changed and brought to Jesus. We still want to see the good news of his death and resurrection impacting the lives of the people in our area. And, a pandemic isn't going to stop that. Nothing's going to stop that. That's God's mission. That's what Jesus intended for us. And that's not going to stop it. So in that way, it hasn't changed. Like we still want to see the gospel spreading to people all over Foster, to youth all over Foster, just like we did before. That's kind of how it's changed and stayed the same.
Yeah. So how would you encourage the youth or the leaders in that? So it's changed, but it hasn't changed. What's sort of your encouragement to the youth for this?
Yeah, I've actually had a lot of fun with figuring out different ways to, serve and help people. Like, for example, like we're not able to meet together in youth, like physically, but it's been fun coming up with different things, like doing this, recording FNL and putting on YouTube, just coming up with different strategies. I think cool. Like we don't want to, it's a bad thing that's happening, but it's also a really awesome opportunity to do different things, which is cool. So I think one, you got to kind of not look at it as the worst thing that's ever happened, because it isn't the worst thing that's ever happened. There are worse things that have happened and could happen. And so then I think, they're kind of, because we aren't meeting physically and because you can't really go places, you have more time on your hands at home. And so one thing you can be doing is praying for people, talking to God, I think is, one of the most powerful things you can do. Even for the youth, like don't, just because you can't kind of meet with your friends physically, don't, I think it's still good to just to still catch up with them and still see how they're going, I think. And it's using kind of the virus as an excuse to get in contact with people more, like calling them up, messaging them, seeing how they're going. Because I think that really, that speaks heaps, like just shows how much you care if you are investing in other people. I think it's easy being in isolation to just kind of go inward and kind of, I don't know, escape into Netflix, just kind of focus and kind of disregard everything else that's going around you, kind of stick your head in the sand while everything passes. I think that's a temptation, or to distract yourself with other things. But I think it's important to just keep remembering those people around you, and that's kind of been my push as well, because I know it's easy just to stick your head in the sand and just kind of focus inward and not think about other people around. So I
Yeah.
think it is a good opportunity to think about other people and yeah, be calling them up, messaging them, seeing how they're going, and yeah, praying for people, I think, is a big thing too.
Yeah, awesome. This is our last week of 1 Thessalonians that we've been going through. And we're up to chapter 5, and verse 16 to 18 says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." You talked about praying more and having the opportunity to pray more now. What does a verse like this mean for you during a corona time where there are a lot of things happening around the world and sad things and hurt and pain and suffering? So how do we rejoice always, pray constantly? Like, what does that mean and look like?
Oh, I think that's great. I really love those verses because there's one, you know, we could rejoice, praying continually, giving thanks, and at the end of that it says, this is God's will. Like, God's will for you is to be rejoicing and thankful. Like, He wants you to have that deep joy and happiness. Right? That's the intent of your Creator, to be joyful and to be happy. Like, He wants you to be that. So I think that's one massive encouragement. I think then also it's like God's given us something like amazing to be thankful for through anything. Like he's given us Jesus, who is one thing that won't be affected by the pandemic. He's one person who is solid and constant throughout whatever we're going through. And God cares, like he's invested in you personally. And I think that's one thing that, oh man, like, yeah, we can definitely take for granted. And I think once we, you know, look to that and pray continually and ask God to kind of show us that, and that's kind of where the joy and the you know, happiness comes from. That's one thing to be really thankful for. Because I like the order that Paul puts it. He goes rejoicing, praying continually, and then sorry, motorbike's outside.
Not a forward drive, so it doesn't count.
yeah. So he's got the order that Paul puts in. He's got rejoicing, he's got praying continually, and then what do you have third?
Give thanks in all circumstances.
Yeah, then he has giving thanks. And I think it's rejoicing. I think joy goes deeper than just kind of being happy. Like, so you know what I mean by that. I think you can be sad but also be joyful. So I think something that gives you that kind of inner joy is a hope in Jesus. And so first you have that joy, you pray to Him continually, which allows you to tap into that joy that you get from Jesus, and then that's what you then thank God for. So I think that's a good kind of order and some massive encouragement.
And you can tell that it's an encouragement for you. You became more animated and joyful in yourself when you spoke about it. And you're right, you know, that no matter what's happening across the world, Jesus is that constant. So we can give thanks in all circumstances because Jesus has died for us for all these circumstances as well. That's really cool. What are you praying for the youth now?
Like I was saying before, I'm praying that we wouldn't kind of just go inward. I'm particularly praying that because that's my temptation as well, is just to go inward and kind of just wait till it all blows over. But it's like, no, we want to be thinking about those around us and helping those around. So I'm praying one, that you would be helping, that we would be focusing on the people around, but also that our relationship with God would stay strong, because we're actually not able to help people around us unless our relationship with God is kind of going strong and we feel really connected with Him. I think is one way that we can, is a kind of foundation for then helping other people around. So I'm praying, that we're still getting stuck into God's word and still being prayerfully dependent on Him, and then looking to those around us also.
And how can we be praying for you?
Heaps of things, but I think mainly yeah, probably the same, that I would be focusing on God and then those around me, but also that God would be giving me wisdom in how to, deal with a kind of big situation like this, how to best handle things. Because no one's had to deal with this before. This is something that, no one's kind of encountered. So we're all kind of facing it together. So I suppose the only kind of real wisdom I can get is from God. So yeah, just pray for wisdom. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Coden. Thanks for sharing with us. And in our groups now, we'll spend some time praying for you. But yeah, we're praying that you keep going well with your MTS and leading us, and we thank you for all that you do. But on that note, see you everyone. Have a great week. Bye.
Thanks, Jill. See ya.